your Iduani story, okay?
That's another gangster of a story.
Did you know I have connection to Iduani?
No, I don't. But you can see how me too, I didn't know I had a connection to Iduani until my dad told me.
You didn't. Yes, you didn't. But Iduani is a big. That's actually where we went to bury my grandmother in 2015, and wow. It's amazing how you told that story of your mom who was sold away in slavery.
Yeah, grandma. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Some people say there may be some Abitogun and Abeokuta too. That maybe my wife is my cousin. But, for those that think slavery started with shipping people overseas, no,
exactly.
It did not.
Read this book and you see.
Yeah.
It's been going down for a while.
It did not, right? So now Ascaris, what's that?
So Ascaris is a name for it's a scientific name for roundworms.
And you were the only one in that class.
Yeah, my dad is a worm specialist. So I've been seeing worms since I was in primary school. So this stuff was all over my life. It's you come home and there's a jar of worms and formaldehyde. So it was part of like, but obviously school, the teachers had to kind of show you that they're the boss. So yeah, it is.
So I'm gonna give this teacher 1 credit. Just 1 out of 10, okay? The credit is that there was no phone because she could have at least Googled it really quickly, right? So I'll let that pass, But it is very true that arrogance,
right? Yeah.
We try to pretend like it's pride. It's not pride. Arrogance.
It's arrogance. It's and to be honest with you, I think if not because of how life has moved on for us, we would have ended up like them to some extent.
Yes, a large extent.
Yeah, but I don't really. I mean, you look back. Okay, at least admit that the ideal way to have done this is to allow there to be a bit more, foster a bit of engagement with the kids, so that they will come up with something that actually, maybe you can find a way to correct them, but to just shut them down, which is a standard way of doing things, was what they did.
Now, isn't that the same behavior that we carried over into verbosity reward culture?
Yeah. I mean, instead of you to admit that you don't know it, you will overcompensate with a definition that's very long. So if you're asking someone for directions in Nigeria, they don't use words like go all the way down and then at the traffic light take a right. No, they'll say go down. Then you see something. Like it's just very full of words, but it doesn't have specifics. So it's a real issue in just express. We're not very good at expressing things in a specific manner. It's a problem.
Yeah, I think like I told you in the chat group yesterday, I mean that a society like that, the issues are so deeply rooted.
Yeah.
It has to self-destruct. There's no way around it. I don't know how that's gonna happen. I'm not calling for blood or anything like that. That's not it. But it has to self-destruct because
there has to be a reckoning of admission that it is bad.
It has to be, but there's a breakdown that needs to happen. The idea that one person is just going to be holy and then fix everybody, forget. That's not. It doesn't work in real life in marriages, and it doesn't work either. You're gonna have to be.
You have to unravel the mess, and then start to gradually pick the pieces back together.
Right. Yeah. Now, your karate partner. When was the last time you spoke to him? Mamooks.
I was spoken to him since we left school. I understand that he might be out of Nigeria as well, maybe in Australia or something.
It's somewhere in the Europe somewhere. I stumbled into him with his real name, I think, on Facebook. We became friends some few years back, and we said hello. But then when I saw his name came up in the book, I'm like, is anybody reaching out to this kid? Let me go see. I searched, he must have changed. You know how people change their name to some fake name on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I can't find him. But that was a very hilarious story.
That story, shameful in bits, over-aggression in some bits, ignorance, immaturity, Nigeria causing lack of oversight again, opportunists there. I mean, it's all in this little story.
And don't forget that the copper lady It's also
Guy.
it's also a guy. It's also a child.
Yeah,
Probably who just finished. It's a young adult who just finished.
Probably 21.
Yeah, at some point, you know. I'm not giving it a pass. It's still an adult, but it is what it is. But that's that story. Now, why is it that when we were in SS1, when I first came to the school, I would confuse the identity of you and Mamukuyomi a lot. I didn't know the difference.
Because we were in the same class, and in that class, so Tony and me were, I mean, we got the highest marks in general.
Right.
So,
He was a smart guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though we weren't in the same house, so we weren't friends outside class because he was in Okusonya, but I think he lived in the little Okusonya embassy in Akele house. But we didn't really roll that much outside class. But in class, we were close. So if there were things that, you know, I wanted to kind of run by someone on a topic, Mamuk was the next that you had to kind of run this thing with.
Yes, yes. And he lived in that extension.
Put up the picture, He lived in that little embassy thing in Akele house.
Yes.
So I mean, this picture brings back a little bit of a sad memory.
Embassy. That's what it was called, right? Embassy.
Yeah,
Embassy. He lived in there with the Olakonyes.
Yeah.
Because Sagi, I think Osage was also in the embassy.
No, Sagi was a proper Akinle boy.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, he was a proper Akinle boy. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, this is our picture for anyone who's watching. That's us as babies. God. Literally babies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, literally babies. Look at me feeling myself. That was me. You could see the guy that stood out with his own post on the left-hand side. Crazy.
That's a lot. And me diagonally opposite on the other side is me, yeah.
Yeah. I think you and I were full of ourselves, if you ask me. I think we thought we were better than everybody somehow. So there's something there.
I think this gap between, so some kids just wanted to just have the extremes of freedom, whereas I think partly because of our upbringing and faith, there's a natural curtailment of that freedom that needed to happen for the freedom to make sense. Right. So you could say that we were a bit more enlightened in some of the things that happens to adults, and we were bringing too much of it into a teenager's life.
Yes,
we were too uptight in some respect. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that set proved it. And I think and I think the extreme end of it, the extreme other end of it was the backlash. That was a lashback. The riot was a lashback of dare I say it was the best set that school had ever seen at that point in time.
Correct.
In terms of organizing, and it's kind of like I hate to compare it to this. It's kind of like Obama happened and then we got rewarded with Trump.